Okay, so today we are diving into Itemku. It's this massive gaming marketplace in Southeast Asia, used by something like 12 million gamers.
That's right. People go there to buy virtual currency, like Robux or even entire game accounts.
And their big promise is twofold: the absolute cheapest deals and, quote, absolute security. We're here to see if that holds up.
Exactly. That's the mission for this deep dive. We're trying to figure out if this platform, which has major corporate backing, is truly legitimate or if it's just a kind of chaotic mess under the surface.
Well, on paper, the legitimacy seems pretty undeniable at first glance.
Oh, for sure. It was founded in Indonesia back in 2014, raised over $1 million.
And the really big one, they were acquired by Bukalapak in 2021.
Yeah, and Bukalapak is a giant, a huge Indonesian e-commerce company. That's about as big a corporate stamp of approval as you can get.
So it's not some fly-by-night operation. But
Right.
how does it actually work?
Well, that's the thing. Itemku itself doesn't sell you anything directly. It's purely a marketplace. Think of it like an eBay, but just for gaming stuff.
So it just connects sellers to buyers.
Precisely. It's a high-stakes middleman.
And the security they promise, that all hinges on their escrow system,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. The idea is they hold your payment, and they don't release it to the seller until you, the buyer, click a button saying you've received your item and everything is okay.
It sounds foolproof.
It does sound foolproof, doesn't it? But then you look at their Trustpilot ratings, and they're just all over the place, bouncing between like 3.7 and 4.9 stars. It's incredibly volatile.
So something's not adding up. What are the core issues people are reporting?
The sources point to a couple of recurring horror stories. One is that sellers are sending buyers outright phishing links.
Wow.
And the other, probably the biggest one, is this problem of account recovery.
Wait, hold on. Account recovery, break that down for me. What does that scam actually look like?
Okay, so you go on Itemku, you find a great deal on a high-level game account, you buy it, you get the login details, you change the password, everything seems fine.
Right. Transaction complete.
But then, a week later, the original owner, the seller, contacts the game's official support team. They use their original registration info to prove they're the real owner, and poof, the game company gives them the account back.
And you're just out of luck.
I know.
You're out of pocket.
You're out the account, and now you have to fight to get your money back from Itemku.
Which I'm guessing is where the system really breaks down.
It is. The complaints consistently show sellers marking orders as delivered when the buyer got nothing. And when a dispute happens, customer support often seems to side with the seller by default.
So what's the critical failure here?
It's that the platform's entire protection model is basically outsourced to you, the buyer. The sources say seller verification is almost non-existent.
Meaning anyone can just sign up and start selling.
Pretty much. So you are entirely responsible for being savvy enough to check a seller's ratings and their transaction history before you even think about hitting buy.
So if you get scammed, it's on you to have a mountain of evidence to prove it.
That's the game. They rely on your documentation to clean up the mess.
Okay, so let's distill the verdict here. Itemku is, structurally, a legitimate business. It's been around a decade, it got acquired.
But functionally, the user experience is just pure, inconsistent chaos.
The sources suggest that instant things, like game top-ups or digital vouchers, usually work out okay.
Yeah, because there's no time for things to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But buying accounts or rare items, that's described as an absolute gamble on whether the seller is honest.
So to wrap this up, what's the bigger picture here, the final thought for our listeners?
Well, you just have to ask yourself this question. If a platform, one that's owned by a massive corporation, relies entirely on your personal diligence and documentation to uphold its own money-back guarantee, what does that say about the actual value of that guarantee?
It implies the system itself isn't secure, just the savvy users are.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what level of chaos is acceptable for consumers, just as long as a big company owns the platform? That's definitely something to think about next time you're chasing a cheap digital deal.